came in, and I got it right here. And my van's a mess. But, yeah, this is it. I put these handles on while it was inside because it's just so hard to carry. There's like nothing to grab, and pulling it out of the box is hard because there's like nothing here to grab onto. So you gotta watch out for that. But it looks like this is gonna fit. It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be like perfect. And I didn't even know, like I didn't realize it was gonna be that perfect. But I'm gonna take these handles off because they're too big right now. And on that side. But I'm gonna take them off. I think it's gonna fit. This thing fits perfect. Got a little bit of room right here. I don't think I'm gonna run this. I think I'm gonna take that off. I just barely had this piece tacked on in the back. There's a little bit of room. This is pretty much like bottomed out as far as room. I'm gonna leave a little bit of space back there for the cords and stuff to ravel up. But, and I think the cords attach right there. But regardless, this thing fits literally so perfect, like it was made for it. And there's enough room for these drawers because this is going to be, I don't know, probably 30 millimeters taller, probably 40 millimeters taller by the time I get everything together. And so once the drawer and everything's on, it's going to be, oh man, it's going to be so perfect. I'm just going to pull out, it's going to shut. I'm going to have like a basket up here to put all my food and dry foods and stuff. So I'm going to try to make that drawer cover the whole area, the whole span, the whole length of this thing that I got built. And where my handles bolt, it's just these inserted zinc plated steel like thread inserts that just kind of, yeah, they're on this side too. These are up higher. So these brackets, and I don't know if I'm gonna make something attached from here to here, just like a bar going across and then meet in the middle and just one piece going down to my like pan. That would probably look the cleanest, honestly. Just one piece spanning across and then one going down and just bolt together. Make that out of stainless steel as well, so if I spill water on it or something, it's not gonna rust up and I don't have to worry about painting it. I'm hyped. This thing is sweet. Got it off Amazon because the price was a little bit cheaper. I haven't plugged it in yet because I didn't want to plug it in real quick and then just bring it right out here, and then if I'm gonna run it, I want to run it for like a long period of time. So I think I'm just going to get my dimensions off this fridge and measure up the bottom, figure out where I'm going to mount these drawer sliders, and I guess that's it. Alright, so I got my stuff out, got my TIG out, and I'm going to weld up some stuff on this ladder because I couldn't find anything else to do. So I'm going to weld this washer to this. Well, I first got to tighten that up, and I'm gonna weld that to there. Just tack maybe 4 sides and get it to where it's like solid enough to work with. And I'm gonna get it to where I have it on the van, and I'm gonna try to find out a spot for these steps and see what we got. All right, so I got these ends welded on. Bolt's still smoking a little bit. That one's welded on. I took the bolts out real quick after I welded it because I didn't want the, actually this one, I didn't want the heat, well, I didn't want the heat getting to, ow, it's still hot. You can kind of see how it discolored a little bit, that black. I didn't want the heat to melt the zinc off or burn the zinc off because I don't want the bolts rusting. So I got them welded on, and now that's going to be a bigger, way bigger surface area when it's bolted to this. I'm gonna let these cool down for a second, and I'm gonna try to, I guess, kind of mount these up to see where it needs welded on the top brackets, if they need bent a little bit more, which I'm sure they will. After like a really long time of bending these things up, got my right side, got my left side, and I got these labeled also, right and left. I got them fitting pretty good. I still need to chop the top down a little bit to get the length right, because I made these a little bit long, knowing that I would have to cut one down to get it to fit right, because the lengths are different depending on what side of the hatch you're on. So, what was I gonna get at? Oh yeah, this one has a little gap, and I can't get the camera down there far enough to, a little gap right here, and it needs bent like up here, a little bit farther. So I'm gonna mark where this needs bent, since this is the right side. That looks like about there. It needs bent. Maybe like another, only like 2 degrees maybe, and I'm aiming you right in the sun. So this right there needs bent a little bit more. I'm gonna get this to fit right, and then I can start marking these and cut them to where it matches that angle, whatever it happens to be at, right there, and possibly tack these in place, and hopefully tack on my steps and get, I need this, why am I setting this down, and hopefully get my ladder tacked up. So I'm gonna bend this real quick. All right, so this is one of many times I'm walking back and forth to try to see if this fits. And that was about there, and honestly that looks a lot better, even though that almost needs like spread apart in the center, because there's that little lip. So from there to about there needs spread open. And I'm trying to get this thing to fit the best the best I can, because I already know when I weld all this stuff together, it's not going to fit exactly how I had it, because I'm going to be welding on stuff and it's going to warp and it's going to draw to one side, and just trying to get it the best I can, so when it actually is put together, it fits. Alrighty, so I got this one pretty good. There's still a little gap right there, but as soon as you put the smallest amount of weight on it, it collapses. I'm just gonna go with it. It's so close, and if it's over, it's fine. So I'm going to put these on, clip that in, and whatever angle that ends up at, I'm gonna cut this piece off, and I'm gonna get it to fit, and I'm gonna tack it up and see what we got. All right, I was really looking at these legs, and when they're on there, the pipe's right here, and that's super square and just kind of weird looking. Same thing with these. When it's on there, that's like that, and that's just super square. Hold on, maybe I'll be able to get this to stay up. But that's like super squared off. And I think I'm going to radius this whole outer, I'll probably trace that so I know exactly where that washer is, and make a radius all around this, and radius that off. And the same thing with these. I think I'm going to mark where these are going to be welded, and then radius all that, just so it looks a little bit more professional, I guess. And especially considering these are like pretty beat up, as far as like me bending it like a bunch of places, and the top's not too bad, but when you get to the bottom, like that, and they got all these little nicks, and it's just like super beat up looking. Them three, and we got all these little. So anything more I can do to make this look a little bit better, more presentable, because as soon as paint's on that, it's gonna show big time. Because it'll be like, I'm gonna use a semi-gloss, and it's not gonna look the greatest. But I think it won't look that bad because the spare tire is gonna be right there, and the ladder's gonna be on that, and I'm planning on maybe making a bike rack on these, off this ladder as well. So I'm thinking that there'll be a lot of distraction around it, and you won't be so like focused on the little dings and like imperfections. So I think there'll be enough distraction around everything to where it kind of blends in. So I think I'm gonna hold off on welding this together and radius all of my brackets to make it look a little bit better, so it's not all squared off, and you know, just I want to make it look like factory. So since I'm tearing this down, I'm going to show you what the bottom side looks like, because I couldn't do that before. We just have your basic weekender mounts for the rear facing seats. These two holes, got washers in there, and then these two, that's, I guess you could say like a female, like a blind hole with that little edge that everything, like the seat rests on and this rests on. So I made little pieces of steel that have an M8 thread in it, and the M8 thread is for this to thread onto. I made a 13mm step right here, and so that sucks everything together. As you can see, my super dry hands, but I think that's like a 25mm, so I can put a wrench on it and tighten that up against this, and then that'll hold together. And this one is loose, but that has an M8, and that's just a flathead right there, flathead cap screw, and it just threads into that M8. And this, one second, and you can see I got flatheads right there to hold that, so it's, you know, flush, which is why I'm gonna counterbore this side for an M6 with little slots for the drawers to mount on. These, we're gonna have that, and that is gonna be through this in there, and it's gonna have little slots. So, and I already see a problem because this has them holes, which are gonna be right there, and that might be right where that is, right where them screws are. I'm gonna measure this real quick, if you don't mind. Okay, so these screws to the center is about 15mm. So that is gonna be about 15mm, and the screw's gonna be on the other side, the outside of this. Let's say it'll be up to 20mm, the head of the screw. So if that's 20mm, that'll just clear them, the head of them flatheads. So I think I'm good. That was a close call, but it was safe. And my counterbore is gonna be all the way through this aluminum, and it's gonna, the bolt's gonna land on this steel through this aluminum. So these drawer sliders are gonna be mounted right there. It's gonna have, I don't know, I think it's like 20mm in between that bracket and this slider. So there'll be enough room for any kind of, like, the heads of these screws are gonna have to be on this side, and it's gonna have to pass this as it shuts. Same thing with this side. And it's about the same from that to that, and that to that. So I will put these screws about 6mm. Sorry, my hoodie string keeps getting in the way. But my screws will be about 6mm over this way, 70 millimeters apart, centrally located like them. So 2 through holes, 2 through holes, counterbore, 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 and then we will be able to mount up the sliders, and I think we'll be good. So since I got this all apart, I'm pretty much done because I need to bring all this stuff into work and truck it up on the mill and get it going. So, and I'm also going to where these bolt to the back side of this, as you can see, the carpet's kind of mushed over. I got spacers in there. Well, my spacers are washers and the original spacer that was in there, and then my bottom spacer on this one, and then I got these two, and I got them two. I'm gonna get a piece of steel and drill me, I don't know, maybe a 9 millimeter hole through the center, and the outside maybe 25 mil. Just get like a piece of inch steel, chuck it up in the lathe, and drill my hole, cut it to that length spacer, like that length, and I'm gonna get a bolt and a nut, put the bolt through here, the nut on the backside with the spacer on the backside, and I'm gonna weld that spacer to the back of this so I don't have to deal with these spacers falling off and having to shimmy the washers in there while I put the bolt in, and they're falling down, and it's just like, it's a pain. So I'm gonna make washers, spacers for the back of that piece of steel so I don't ever have to mess with this again, because it's annoying and they're falling out and you don't know which ones they came from, and it's just a good old time. So I think this is about it for today. My hands are about froze and my light just came on, so I think I got them. I got my ladder things I gotta put the radius on. I think that's about all I can do.